These meetings in here or down there? On it right now.
Go to your calendar.
Future, all the plans you made in your heart grew just to die.
Well, good morning, guys. Thanks for joining us here on this morning. And I just want to lay down a few things that have to happen. First thing I'm doing is sound checking the YouTube channel, which it's working. Yay. Technology is actually working in our favor this morning. I want to go over a few ground rules really quick. Number one, I would ask that you would keep your mics on mute as we do this presentation. I'll try to moderate that the best that I can. The other thing too is our bandwidth and your bandwidth might be sucked down because of the amount of video and stuff that's being done, especially if you're on the premises. So I'd ask you that if your Outlook is open or anything like that, that you would close those at this time, and that that way we save our resources for the internet and things like that. Let's see what else is there. Also, while we get ready to roll here, I would like it if you guys would select a what do you call it? A client, a demonstration client on your list.
Echo. You just got a big echo.
It never fails. Anyways, what I'm trying to get across to you is that let's do this. Is that I would like for you guys to have a mic or a client involved, so that way we can, when you go to make your first case today, is Deb walks you through it, then you can actually do it yourself as well, and then we can confirm. Now, some of the things that Deb is going to be teaching on today is not going to necessarily be policy. Policy will follow, and right now we're getting the process down. But there are going to be a few things that she's going to suggest. For example, the day that you set an invoice and you collect your down payment, or you have a date, or whatever the case might be, then you should definitely be looking at putting your case on the board that day. But she's going to go into that a little bit further. So with that being said, I'm going to turn this over to Deb at this point. So everybody, Deb Vining.
Good morning. So I am going to share my screen, and we can go for the process of starting from a customer. I went out, most of this week is already on the board, so I'm going to start with a job for next week. Okay, so you guys should be seeing my home screen. Now, my home screen is going to be a little different from yours because I am in a different role. I am in controller mode, whereas you guys are in the sales and AR role. But you guys should all have the search bar at the top. So I'm going to look up Job. Now, Scott Job is a prospect. So we know that he's on the board. He's expected to start on the 21st. So we're going to change him over to a customer. To do that, I go to status and I come down to customer closed one. Now he is a construction customer, so I'm going to change that category to landscape construction. If he happened to be a reno customer, a maintenance customer, it just lets us know what the customer's main focus is. And then I save it. So this one is Mitch's. So as you can see, the sales rep. Let's see here. We have a complete address. We have an email. We have a phone number. You want to make sure that you have a complete address for doing the NextService. If you do not have a complete address, you would want to edit and click that button and put in the correct address. So we are going to go to Sales, Transactions. Here's the estimate. It has not been made into an invoice. So you guys would open up your estimate. And then this wonderful button right here, Invoice, immediately makes it into an invoice. Now, if the customer has made any changes, like they want to add something to the estimate, they want to take something off, this is where you would do it. Your line item for change orders, the CO, is a change order. Now, everything to my knowledge is staying the same. This information here, we're going to want this for our job. So I'm going to click in the box and I'm going to copy it. So Control C, just for when I do my further on down the job. At the top here, today's date and the posting period is September. Now, this job is starting next week, so we can leave it at 9/14, but our due date, the job is not supposed to finish till the 24th. So the job finishes on the 24th, so we'll put the 27th. Give them over the weekend to get you guys able to finalize. This date can change if the job goes longer. It's just what we're expecting payment for the job. If the job were to go for not start till October, we want to change our start date to the 1st of October. If it's not starting till November, then November 1st, only because of the posting period, which is for tax purposes. As you guys have noticed, our taxes should automatically be populating in here. Now, there are a couple of areas that do not populate correctly, and that is Woodinville 98072. So if you happen to be in the Woodinville 98072 for the customer, you might want to just double check that tax rate, and you guys should be doing the DOR for that one. But otherwise, our tax rates have been coming out correctly. All the other information is just copied over from the original estimate. So we are going to save this. Now, the estimate was created by the main person, whoever the sales team. So your invoice should be saved as the sales team as well. But you do want to make sure that you are the sales rep, because you want to make sure that you get credit for this and not somebody else. Okay, so from here, we are going to go back to the customer. I'm going to go to this tab called NextService. And then I'm going to click on this one saying New NextService Asset. The customer type, whether it's a residential or commercial, this one's residential. I put a flag in here for designer reno lead because it's a designer. For the irrigation, we would want to put irrigation if the customer's irrigation. This will help for doing winterizations and activations. Notes, this is all about the address. It's nothing about what we're doing. It's if there's a gate code, if there's specific directions for getting there, if we need to make sure that the gates are closed when we leave because they have dogs, anything specific about this location. You have to take a right turn or park in a certain spot. Anything that is pertinent this is where it would go. If there are no notes, then skip it. Now, your region, right now, we are doing all, but it is going to be changed. It will be all construction, all reno, all ponds, all irrigation. It's so that where it shows up is it shows up under what type of job it is. Now, you'll see central, north, southeast, and southwest above it. These are for the maintenance customers, so don't worry about any of those. Your subregion is going to be your city. Now, I have a tendency not to look at my city, so I come down to address select, and this is where you want to make sure that your address is correct. So I click on it, and you'll see it automatically populated. The address, the latitude, the longitude. So I take the city, Redmond, and that's going to be my sub area. Route, don't worry about. Account manager, right now, don't worry about it. We may go back and have it where it's put in for who's doing the job. But for right now, don't worry about the account manager. Don't worry about the day of the week. This is also for the maintenance customers. So to recap on this page, you're going to put residential or commercial, whatever customer type it is. The flag, whether it's a design, reno, or irrigation. The region, all. Subregion, city. Address, select. Once those are done, you'll come down to the bottom and save. To know if you have a NextService asset or not, you can click on the NextService, and you'll see in our customer folder that we now have a NextService asset. You only have to create one NextService asset for that location. If we go back and do a job for this customer later on, we do not need to go back and create a new NextService asset.
Now, Deb, before you move on to the next role, you guys have to realize that there are some clients that have multiple assets, and those are like property management companies that manage more than one property. So it's really important that you guys select the right address. And it could be any one of you teams that does it, irrigation, maintenance, whatever. But like for T-Square, we have 3 of their properties, I think 3 or 4, something like that. And so it's important that you select the proper team or the proper NextService asset or address in this case. Otherwise, you could be sending them out to do a job and not even realize that it's the correct place. So beware of that.
Okay. So from here, we are going to create our case. To do that, we go to our wonderful plus button. If you guys are not familiar with your plus button, this is like your cheat area to go to quick. We could also go to this to do the NextService asset, to send an email, invoice, estimate, but this is your cheat for this customer. So it's like kind of adding on information for the customer, the plus sign. We're going to come now. Your plus sign may look different from mine because if you notice down here, you can personalize it. So my case is located all the way at the bottom. Some of yours may be up here. We're going to click on case. It's going to open up a new window. Takes it a second to load. Yes, there's a name here. Yes, you see some stars. The stars are required, but some of it actually auto-populates, like your email, your phone number, status, customer. When you put in the service location, your name is going to auto-populate. So we're going to start with our service location. This is our NextService asset. Now the project, what type of project is it? Most of your projects are going to either be time and materials or fixed price. The fixed price is for the construction company, construction jobs, ones that we've got an estimate already for. So it's going to be a fixed price. The time and materials are probably more like the ponds, irrigation. Type, which field or what department we're under. So this one's going to be construction. Details. This is where I'm going to copy in the information from the estimate. What are we doing out there? So we're going to do ground preparation and planting. Now, as you see right here, I put it on the corner and I can drag and drop and make it bigger. So I can see it at the entirety. Now, asphalt dump, brush dump, rotor roller. I want to make sure that I have no amounts in here. Times and days, that's fine. But the pricing, we don't want any pricing in here.
You guys, I'm going to elaborate on that really quick. It's none of the technicians' business what we're charging for plants or yards of soil, so on and so forth. That's the reason why we're saying don't put any pricing in there.
Okay. That doesn't need to be in there. Now, for some of them, we can go through and put it in Spanish as well. So basically, you would open up a new tab, do English to Spanish, Google, enter text. So I'm copying everything. I took out the 125. And I took out the labor. So I'm just going to copy all this information. And I'm going to open up my case. And I am pasting it down at the bottom. So as you notice, we have English and Spanish for the guys so that they can read it in Spanish and English. This kind of helps so that the guys know exactly what they're supposed to be doing, their expectations. So from the details, if it's most priority is going to be medium, if it's something that we have to immediately get done right away, we can change the priority to high, but most of your jobs are going to stay at a priority medium. Now, this is going to show up for all of the everything for the on the phone. Now we're going to come down to our tasks. We are doing cleanup on the job. Is what I'm seeing is, or let's see, renovation. Cleanup. Renovation. New asphalt. So I know from the reno schedule that we have assigned Christian to this job. So I'm going to put type renovation and I'm going to assign it to Christian. It's going to start on the 21st and it's going to go through the 24th. If the job is lasting longer than a week, you only want to do it by week because it'll include Saturday and Sunday. And as we don't usually have the guys working on Saturday and Sunday, we don't want to create tasks for the entire time. So we only want to do each week. Now, I'm going to change this from 8 to 4. It just depends on how long the guys are supposed to be working. So I just put in 8 to 4. Skills. If we are putting it on, but we don't know who it's going to go to, then we can put for the different skills. If we are assigning it to an employee to start with, you do not want to put in your skills, because if you put in skills, you'll notice that it just changed it to how many are possibly available. So we only have 13 employees that are available that can do heavy equipment. If you happen to accidentally click here, you can go back to none and then put in the person that you actually want to.
If you guys are wondering where the skill set came from, that came from multiple conversations over the last several months on each individual. So these are people that we've had conversation, mostly with Mike, designers and foremen, of who can run what, who can do what. So if you have a question, or if you're like, no way can that guy drive a skid steer, he wrecks a 30-inch mower, then we need to know that. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so if we're doing multiple jobs or multiple weeks, and we're focusing on, just say we're removing everything for this week, and then next week is going to be doing planting. We can put the message here for what we want to do that week. We can break it up. It can show, like, if you want specific messages for each day, what you want the guys to be doing, you can break it up. And then it would just show on the message for that day. Now, to let you know, message and details are seen by the customer. So remember, whatever you put in details and message can be seen by the customer. This button right here, not this button, this one is your friend. If you do not click add and show them up here, it will not create them on the schedule board. This is the biggest button that we all miss. Be like, I set it all up, it's not showing. That is because we clicked the wrong add button, or we did not click the add button. Every one of us has done it. Now, if you have created a task, or you have created a case and saved it, and you did not hit the add button, please send me an email so I can fix it. It'll be a lot easier for me to fix than creating a whole lot of cases that we don't need. So this one is for the 21st through the 24th. Now, we know for a fact that, say, the last day is only going to be a half a day. We don't need the entire time. We can go through and change this to 12 o'clock and make it a half a day instead of a full day. We're not starting till 10 o'clock. We're not starting this job till the beginning. So we can adjust from here. We don't have to do each one individually. We can do the whole week and then make the changes. Now, we're setting this up. We put it Monday through Wednesday, and we realized, oh, shoot, we're going to have to go do something else on Thursday. We can remove that one, and we'll do Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Now, say, oh, I messed up. I put the wrong date in there. I can go back and put the 23rd back in there by putting the date in and adding it in. And you'll see that the 23rd is now back in there. It's pretty user-friendly. The only thing to remember is to add.
Hey, really quick, Deborah, before you go on, you guys, this also goes for multi-week jobs. So in this case, Deb put in the 21st to the 24th. So let's say the following week is going to be the 27th, and this job is going to go on the 27th through the 30th. She just populated 2 weeks worth of work that fast and put it on the board. Okay. But again, this goes back to, if you're going to start this one late, she can actually go and change that to 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. And then if you're going to end early, or if there's a day in here where a crew is going to be late, you can actually customize that as well. Now, this is all in one case file for right now. And she's going to talk about how you can change it down the road. This is just how you put it on the board, kind of like you would on the Excel spreadsheet, which is going to go away in about a week. So it's really important that you guys get this down. Okay, go ahead, Deb.
Okay, so you can do multiple weeks. I know that there are a couple of jobs that are supposed to last multiple weeks. You could technically put, say this job is going to go from the 27th through the 8th of October. Oh, 27th through the 8th of October. Technically, you could go through and put in all of those versions and then just take out the weekends. So, but you'd have to know that this was a weekend. I did it all at once and I took out my weekends. Whatever you're more comfortable with, but we really don't want cases showing up that we don't need. So just make sure you pay attention to your dates. I've been setting them up. I just set them up for 1 week, and then another week, your renovation, your who you're signed to, and your start and end time all save. So all you have to do is change your dates. That way you can make sure that you're on the right ones. And I'm going to remove all these extras that I don't need. I made a lot more than I thought. So Christian has got jobs the 21st, the 22nd, 23rd, and the 24th. So we're good here. Now I'm going to save it. I need a. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my schedule board. To do that, you're going to go to NextService, Scheduler, and Run. There is a lot of information in here, so it's going to take a little while to populate. So I'm going to open up this scheduler that I already have populated for the 21st. And if I notice here, look at that, Scott Job is already in there for the 21st. Now, my schedule board, you will notice, is set up with different colors. If you notice in the top right corner here, it says case type. You can change it to priority, status, task type, or case type. Case type is construction maintenance, is divided up into our divisions. If you want task type, like what the task is that we're going out there, you guys are only going to see the landscaping, you guys are only, or the construction or reno jobs. You can filter through for construction and reno. The wonderful thing is that you can see all or minimal. We have filters over here on the right-hand side. We have assigned tasks, we have people filters, and we have unassigned tasks. If you hit the little down button, it brings it down, and you can see it's divided up into region, sub-region, route, case type, task type, skill, priority, status, booking, and skip service. These are all filters, and they are all on the people filters and the unassigned tasks. That's why it kind of goes a little. So you want to minimize people filters and unassigned tasks if you're using assigned tasks. The region, this is where we're broken up with all, and then the central, north, southeast, and southwest. So if you notice over here on the left-hand side, we have our all, which is going to be broken up into all construction, all reno, all irrigation, and all ponds. So instead of having all at once, they'll be broken up to be able to be seen for our construction and reno and irrigation and ponds. Down here is where it starts, our maintenance. And so we have central, north, southeast, and southwest. This is good for the account managers to see, but the landscape and irrigation and ponds don't really need to see this. So you can filter through and so that you don't see this. I also have it divided up. I did have it divided with Carolyn, so these areas are going to have to be switched over to north, southeast, and southwest. So Jeff, all you have to do is see all in north. Mike, all in southeast, because your group, I mean, technically, most of your guys are just there. Now, you have a couple that are in other routes, but mostly your guys are there. So you can filter through and see just your guys. The next one is subregion. These are cities. It's only really needed for like more maintenance, more irrigation, trying to keep the guys together and stuff. But it is there if you need it. Routes are set up by just for the maintenance. They're not set up for construction or reno, so you shouldn't have to do anything on that. Case type, this is where you want construction, irrigation. Construction crew, you might need to see irrigation every once in a while if you need to set something up for irrigation to be done. But it could be that most of the time you just want to concentrate on seeing your construction jobs. So you would just filter for construction, and it just shows you construction. If you have it filtered, your board is going to probably load up a lot faster than if you were to have everything. Shows you what's coming up. Your task type. We have activation, which is whether it's a pond or irrigation activation. We have admin work, so you guys can schedule in time for admin. Cleanup, all our fertilizations that we do. Installation, new construction, renovation, repair, routine maintenance. Site visit, snowplow, warranty, winterization. Now, if there is something in there that you think should be there that I don't have, please let me know and I can add to it. Skill. What do these jobs require? Are any of them set up with a specific job so that we have to make sure that it's assigned to those jobs? Right now, I do not have anybody set up with specific jobs, with specific skills. Priority. Everything's probably a medium, so most is going to change. Do we have any high priorities that we have to make sure that we get done? Status, completed, in progress, not started. Now, I'm going to show you today's schedule. So this kind of coincides with their status. If you see here in gray, it means that the guys have completed it. If you see a little truck, it means that the guys are on their way there. The little rook, which I was told is a little man, but to me it looks like a rook, means that the guys are on site. Now, it's 9:35. Gwen Mira, we have a truck. So were they picking up parts or should they be on site already? Hey, you know, what's going on here? This one here shows that it hasn't started. As you can see, the job wasn't supposed to start yet, so that's good. Now here, we have a little red dot for Julio. That means that he has not hit his start button. He's going to be getting a call when we get off. It's the same way to know for the maintenance guys to know where they're at for an automatic for the account managers. So that's what status means. Booking. Is it tentative or confirmed? Most everything right now is tentative. If you have something that has to be confirmed, like it's a set day, there's no changing it, then put confirmed in there.
Now I'm going to stop you right there really quick. So there's a couple things that I'd like for you to drop that menu really quick for me, the priority. You guys, it's really important. I would say low would be like what Jeff refers to as his back pocket. Okay. If you have a job that's like a back pocket job that is open-ended, the client wants 3 yards of mulch and some weeding done or whatever, that would be low. Medium should be kind of your standard. Almost all the jobs should be medium, in my opinion. Basically saying basic work. It can be booked. We're going to put a date on it. And then your high priority would be like, we have a client that's going to have a showing on Saturday, and it has to be done this week, period. End of story. And then go back to your confirmed, if you would. Deborah.
To which one?
Yeah, your booking. That would chime in with this part here. Is it a tentative job or is it confirmed? So if it's a high confirmed job, when we're looking at on the board, that could tell Mike and I and anybody else that that job has to be done on that day for a certain reason. And you can actually put that in the notes. So we could go look it up. Deb's going to show you how to do that in a little bit. We can see why it's a priority. But I wanted to talk a little bit about that because that's an area that we have not used and we need to start utilizing as we move along. This is all baby steps. Right now, I'm just stoked that we're this far. So, Deb, all yours.
Okay. We also have in here for skip service. Now, skip service is most likely not going to be for construction or reno. It'll more likely be for irrigation, ponds, and maintenance. But skip service, it gives the guys an opportunity to skip something if we can't have access to it, if the customer's not available. It lets us know why we skip service. So we can go back and say, this is why we skip the service, so that it's written down. Now, that's an assigned task. We have our people filters. And here you have region, subregion, route, skill, name. So there are only one person assigned for Route 1 North. There's only supposed to be one person assigned. Oh. That needs to be fixed. It's interesting. Okay. I have to fix some stuff. I should only have one person showing up. Skill level. Who are construction guys? Who can do construction? Let's filter it down a little bit more. We want them to be able to do construction and heavy equipment. To click on multiple ones at once, you'll hit the control key and then whatever skill level you want. That did not work how I thought it was going to. It puts everyone that does bilingual construction or heavy equipment. It does not break it up by one. That's interesting. 1 second, let me write that down because that should be not or, it should be and. Okay. We can also filter by name. So we just want to see Oscar's route, or we just want to see what we have for Jeff. We can filter through. Now, in order to be on this board, I have to have had you set up. Our helpers are coming, but we're not to that point yet, and they will be set up as helpers. The next section is unassigned tasks. So you guys set up a board, you have a kind of idea where it's going to be, and somebody happens to move that off the board, and it comes down over here. So we have Katie Bordy here. She was supposed to be started earlier, and then she got pushed back. So her first beginning ones got moved down here. That means that most likely when we finish up our job, we're expecting to have 3 at the end. So we'll be able to add those into at the end. Trish Slimberg, Tracy Northcutt. Just if a job goes shorter than expected, we can go through and say, I'm going to move off of today and show how things can move on the board. Okay. We're going to mess with Steve's. So right here, I'm going to click on it and say, we're not able to do this. He's got to do something else that comes up. And it's as easy as left clicking on this, dragging it down to the unassigned. And now you will see that it populates down here. I needed to move my date. But you see it move down here.
As you move into that, Deborah, one of the things I like to point out is, in the old days, we had an ink board up and a job would get erased and it would get forgotten. That's happened a couple times. On the Excel spreadsheet that we use online, that's happened a couple times. This actually ensures that if a job gets deleted or moved, not deleted necessarily, but unassigned, that we don't overlook it. So in a blink, we could look over there and go, oh, Katie Bordy, we got to get on that job because of whatever. Or Trish Lindbergh, that job was completed. These are 2 extra days. We need to terminate those, whatever the case might be. But what this does is it puts a checks and balances to ensure that we don't lose the work. Go ahead.
Okay. Now I'm going to put that back, and it's as easy as clicking on it. And we're going to go back to putting it back on somewhere else. You can put it there to move it to a different day. So I'm going to go 3 days. It's going to take it a little bit longer to populate, but so say it gets taken off. But we're going to do it on Thursday instead. So you can put it and move it that way, or you can just move it to a different day. And that is as easy as just left clicking on it and moving it around. Now, say we want to move Katie Bordy around. Now, if you notice, when I clicked on Katie Bordy, her other job's over here highlighted. So I'm going to move this, and I'm going to move it, and it moves the job that is tied to it on the right-hand side. So it moves this one and this one at the same time. Now say we only want to move one day, not both of them. It's a little bit trickier, but you have to left click in the white next to it, then holding down the shift key, we are going to click on the one that we want. Now I can lift up my shift key, and I'm going to click on Katie Bordy. It's not liking it. Shift. This is new to me still too. But see how it's red? It unties it from the other ones. It's a little tricky, and it doesn't work all the time. I'm still getting used to it, so bear with me on that one. So I'm going to move on from there. To adjust the time, you're going to hover over it. I'm going to get away from Katie Bordy. It's tied to the other ones, and I think that's what the problem is. It's using too much bandwidth. Okay, it's not working because I don't have enough bandwidth right now. But in essence, you would left click outside of the box on the white next to it. Then you would come and hover over the one that you want to change. You hit the shift key and you click on the one that you want to work with. This unties it from the other one, and then you should be able to move this one where you want it to be, and it's not tied to the other one. There, it's finally going. To move the time, so say we've got it all set up, but we're starting this job today and we realize that we have to go somewhere else and the job's going to start later. So this is when you want to be able to change just this one. And I'm going to adjust my time by hitting Alt, and I'm going to adjust this one. Now, if it is tied to this one still, it would change this time, not just this one. It would change both of them. So you want to make sure that they're untied together if you're wanting to change the time on just one. That's where you left click, shift, left click on the one that you want to change, and then you can make your changes, whether you left click and move it to a different area, whether it's going to be unassigned, we're not starting it till a couple days later, whether you're wanting to make it later, begin earlier, that's where you do it there. Okay. What else on here? You see all your names here broken up. You see the account managers further down. The designers and pawns will all be in here. Like Dan's already in here. He's able to see if he has something assigned to him. Your date
Deb,
range.
let's do this really quick because we're going to be a little pressed on time here. There's a couple ways to change these guys. You might say like Jordan Elder might go another day. Deb, can you show them how to copy and also how to open a case and modify it from here if necessary?
Yes. So Jordan Elder is supposed to go till Friday instead of Thursday. We are going to right click on the information on the tab that we want. You'll see that when it started, this is the renovation number 94, the priority, where the address is. This here is our case, and this here is our project. Everything has a project, a case, and a task. The asset, priority. Now, to change, to make a copy, it's as simple as this little copy button down here. So I'm going to click the copy button. You'll notice that all your information copied over is still assigned to Christian. The only thing we're going to want to do is to put the 17th. It keeps our start and end time. Everything else is the same. Save. Now it will create a new NextService schedule for you. And so you have to just wait for it to show up to reload. This is where it comes in handy of being when you have your filters. So it doesn't show up as much.
I would recommend to you guys that if you don't have your filter set, get a hold of Deborah or myself, and we could walk you through it. The ones you're going to use the most are the ones that she just used. This is going to be case type. You know, Mitch and Kyle, you guys are going to use construction and renovation, maybe irrigation, but I don't see you needing maintenance on there. For Jeff and the account managers, Monty and Mike, you guys might just want to keep maintenance and renovation, maybe irrigation. I don't know. Or if your hand's in it, you can customize that. That's what Deb's trying to get to, is that if you want to save time on all this information loading up, that's where you change your filters.
Now, as you notice, here's the one from that we did beforehand. There's no Jordan Elder, and now we have them on there. And it was as simple as just that little button. Now, we know that Jordan Elder is not supposed to go till Friday, so we're just going to bring them down to unassigned tasks. And I brought down all of them, which is not what I wanted to do. So this is where I have to click on it and bring just the right one down. Okay. Now, say that's not working for you. Both of these are in here. They're tied together. It's a little frustrating because they're tied there, but you don't want to it's not working for you. We can go through and click on this one right here. We can go into edit. We can change who it's assigned to. So we're going to have Felipe do it instead of Christian. We can change it to the start date. We can change the start time, the end time. We can put it to nobody assigned. If you are going to change something and it's not going to be assigned to someone, from here, please put it under E1, unassigned maintenance. I don't want it to get lost in the never, never.
Never, never.
So this is also, once a case is done, once the case is done, you'll go to right click on it, bring up the information. You'll see that it's completed. You'll bring up the task. Shows that it was completed by Alejandro when he started it, when he arrived on site, when he departed, and when he completed it.
Certainly.
It has his signature. It has if we have the customer signature and what actions he took. Any transactions are going to be if he took pictures of the site. Say you want them to take a picture of the site when they're done. It would be
This
under
is your
here.
before and after photos.
Expenses. Did he have any expenses for the job? It'll be under here. The landscape analysis checklist is only for site visits. Now, when we were doing our cases, it automatically set for site visit. So you want to make sure it doesn't set it for site visits because landscape analysis is required on all site visits. This part here, the NextService consumable, we do not have in place yet, so we don't have to worry about that one. This is the address. Now the customer will be able to see this as a service report. It looks like we haven't looked at this in a little while and we need to make some changes on it.
Yeah, I'll
But
do that
this
today.
is the task service. It says when it was completed, the task type, the date, who did it, the actions taken, the customer signature. The customer will be able to see this. So remember, task details, task type, all this information the customer will have access to as well.
What this comes in really handy for to the account managers is especially, it basically becomes an electronic door hanger. So the guys can actually, as they mark off what they've done and what they're doing and any side notes, the client will actually know, hey, my lawn got mowed today, my beds got done today, and they put down fertilizer today, things like that. So as this evolves, it's going to be a lot better. Going back to what Deb was saying regarding these tabs here, the reason why we're not talking about these just yet is because we want to get the basics down. This eventually is going to lead to your job costing, and all these tasks are going to be associated with your projects and whatnot. So all of this information you can find, and when you guys are asking about your hours, how much time people have put in, you're going to be able to find it without having to ask. You'll just be able to go get it. So that's the beauty to it.
Okay. That is all I have for today.
Okay, so here's you guys' homework. Let me elaborate a little bit. Deb, could you unshare your screen for me? Right here, I can. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen just for a second. Because here's your homework. That's right, homework. What nobody wanted to do. Nobody likes to do. So here is, if it ever loads, talk about pushing your bandwidth to a whole new level. So here is our all famous rental board, right? And everybody's been asking, well, how do I do? Well, here's how you know. I need you guys to go in there and start putting these jobs in that are coming up. Higman's already in there, I think, for the week. Bordy's already in there, I think. I think Woods needs to be put in. Katie Bordy down here, that's where you can drag and drop that, Joe. Make it better. And you can even extend it out. There's a lot of practice in here. Now, this runs through the first week of October. This is our kill point right here. The first full week of October, this is going to be inaccessible by everybody except for Mike. And what we should be doing is utilizing the rental board the way that it's intended, or the scheduler the way that it's intended. Just simply because that's the way that the cookie crumbles. Okay. Long story short, Mike has made a considerable investment into this program, and we should be utilizing it to make our systems more fluid. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking, Russ, I just learned how to use my phone, or whatever the case might be, but this is the direction we're going to go. I'm not going to tell you how much funds have got into this, because it's hard to tell with the amount of manpower and everything that's gone into it. But what I am going to say is that it's important. It's not something to take lightly, and it's something that is a priority. And so I really need for you guys to jump in the next few days and start asking questions, because those questions are what is going to help you get going. Otherwise, all it does is become a waste of time and money. And in the long run, the goal is that by October, you guys will be putting in your cases, and we'll just know how to use the board effectively. You'll be able to drag and drop it effectively. And then probably the first week of November, start making the expense and all the other reports start coming around. Now, Russ, why are we doing this in baby steps? Well, because some of you did just learn how to use your phone. And frankly, we're learning this program, and we want to make sure that before we go to the next level, that every single aspect of this software works the way that it's intended to. Deb is finding out stuff as we utilize it, and so am I. And this is why I welcome your feedback. We may not like the feedback always, because some of it's not always constructive. And I would ask that we would do that as well, that it would be constructive feedback and not just whatever. So what I'd like to do now is open up. I'm looking in the chat. I don't see any questions down here so far, but I would just say if you have a question, unmute at this time and ask your question, and we can try to display it. After all that, there's no questions. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Okay, so here's the deal. The homework, I would like to see forward movement on that as early as tomorrow. I've been entering, or Deb has been entering this information in for like the last couple of days. Deb and I are not going to do it anymore as of Wednesday or Thursday, and if it's not in here or in the phone, then it's not going to get done. And that makes for a bad day. And I'm just going to say it like this, not to make anybody feel bad, but you get to explain to Mike, because we're doing our diligence in trying to execute this program, teach, coach, and train on how to use it. Now, if you really don't know how to use it or don't know how to enter in Donnelly and Perry for half of it, we want to help you. We want to equip you with the knowledge that you need to get this done. But we need your help in making sure that it's done properly. So with that being said, I'm going to conclude this meeting. I know you guys got a lot going on. And I'd like to thank Deborah for taking the time to do this training this morning. The video is going to come out following this, so you'll be able to watch it again. I think it was about minute 9:10, somewhere in there, is where Deb really started to hit on how to start a case, or the NextService asset, how to start a case, how to program it, how to do it for multiple days. There's a lot of information, so I would recommend that you go in and watch that video. I'll be emailing the link here in about probably 10 minutes or less. And of course, if you have any questions, Deb and I are both in the office, and we would love to help you if we can. Okay? A lot of excitement out there in Bear Creek land. All right, guys. Hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye. For those of you watching the video, I'd like to say thank you again for watching the video, being a part of this. This has been kind of challenging because what we do is we do a Zoom meeting and then we overlay it. So in the past, we've tried to do this, and in the past it has been successful, and it's also failed, meaning that there is no audio a couple times. And so on this case, I wanted to make sure that we got everything you needed to have the information that you needed. I think Deborah did a great job in presenting this today. And I would say that if we are unreachable because you're watching this video at night or early in the morning and we're super busy, take a minute to text us your question, and we will try to get it back to you as quickly as we can with the proper information, the process, the procedure, all that good stuff. Guys, I can't reiterate enough that this is the future of Bear Creek landscaping. So with that being said, as the music cues, I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey baby, do you believe me when I say I miss you so? It seems like your mind is elsewhere whenever we're on the phone, always on the go.